This might be a long one because I've got all the limbs to play with and Scattershot to play with. Might even throw in Optimus Maximus for a laugh. This is a review of Scattershot, Combiner Wars Scattershot. Not the Computron gift set version. This is the single release that has it listed on the back of the box as his combined form being Betatron. Although that's only for specific characters. I believe Betatron is comprised of Scattershot, Mirage, Sunstreaker, Prowl and Ironhide. I think. And then he has another listing for, I think, Ghost Starscream and Ratchet and all that. Called fucking Wankatron or something. I don't know. Can't remember. For the purpose of this review, I'm going to refer to his combined mode as Betatron. Because, you know, it kind of works. You know, Beta, like I said in the Trailbreaker review, I took a week off because the Red Dead Online dropped. And that's in its beta stages. Betas are trials. They are to, it's a testing ground. So it would make sense that he would be called Betatron as he experiments with different limbs. Or as we experiment with different limbs with him. So I'm going to stick with the Betatron name. Any better names in the comments, drop them down below. You know the drill. But yeah, Betatron worked for this guy without his Technobot buddies. So let's get into it, shall we? He's a repaint or retool of Silverbolt, the Combiner Wars Silverbolt, who was one of the first Combiner Wars figures I bought. I think the first three I got were Optimus Prime, Silverbolt and Dragstrip. So I had fun going around with a triple amputee combiner. His head sculpt is nice. It's white and a very light pastel blue almost. It makes it hard in some cases. I mean, the detail's showing up nice there, but it all just seems to blend in unless you look closely enough. He's got the Autobot symbol on his chest and those two nice painted details on his pectorals that I believe are the same pastel blue. There's nice little bits of that blue scattered around like there as well. The legs, I believe there's not a lot of difference. I think the only difference between this and Silverbolt, we'll get to that when we do a Silverbolt review, is the head sculpt and the wings. And the nose, obviously. But, yeah, when I do the Silverbolt review, I will also compare him with this guy. And we'll see how different they really are. Because from what I can tell, the head is the same as well. He had the combined head, sorry. He has the Superion head and chest. I can't speak for the Computron set because I don't have that. But if he has a different head, I think he has a different head sculpt. I'm not sure about the chest, but yeah. Let me know in the comments if those differences are there. But yeah, he's pretty decent. Like I said, I've got 3 of this figure. Not 3 of him, but I've got Silverbolt, Scattershot and Cyclonus. Wasn't really clamouring for this. He was just on offer, $12.99, and I was like, yeah, why not? Might as well. I'll take it off your hands. I'll take one for the team. But it's good because this mould is a good mould. It's not focusing there very well, is it? Damn it, bitch, focus. Fuck you then. There we go. So yeah, I wasn't real. It was, yeah, it's $12.99. It was a decent price for a Voyager figure. So I thought, why not? Might as well. I did have also spare limbs lying around. And the problem with Combiner Wars is, when it came to the generic limbs, they were all Autobots. There was no generic limbs that I can recall. All the Decepticon limbs were part of teams. Menasor, Bruticus, Devastator, obviously. Lio Kaiser, not Victorian, Galvatronus, the female Decepticon combiner, the Japanese one. we didn't get any Decepticon random limbs that were just released just cause. And whereas with on the Autobot side you had Prowl, Sunstreaker, fucking Smokescreen, Wheeljack, Hound, Trailbreaker, Reinhide, Mirage, a lot of them. You had like enough limbs to make up the 2 Autobot torsos. These 2 spare torsos. I assign some to Cyclonus. Generally, I'd just leave them with in the Galvatronus form because his combined mode looks better than, Optimus Maximus. But kind of, I wish they'd done more Decepticon limbs. I mean, can you imagine if they'd done the Coneheads as limbs? I mean, we got the leader class Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, and we've had a Power of the Primes combiner Starscream. But you imagine if they'd done like Dirge, Thrust, Ramjet as limbs, and then a couple other Decepticons as limbs. Or imagine if they did Soundwave as a torso and then his cassettes as limbs. That would have took some work, but it might have been fun to see if they could pull it off. But yeah, so there was a lot more Autobot limbs than there were Decepticon limbs. And so I felt, well, I might as well get an Autobot, just so I've got the extra Autobot that the limbs can go with. Obviously, that didn't play out because, like I said, I keep them on Galvatronus, not on Optimus Maximus. But yeah, he is a decent enough figure. He's got these weird-ass wings at the back that cleans him up from the front, makes him look a bit silly from the side, because they're not full wings, a lot of those weird-ass wings. So I tend to not bring them out completely, but have them at a little bit of an angle so you don't see it too much. And then on that side, it's not overly obtrusive or obstructive. Points of articulation, he has a head goes 360 despite the shoulder stuff. The arms go all the way around if you tuck the wings back fully. They go out. Nice ratchets on this. No ratchet in the elbow. No wrist swivel or anything of that kind. Legs go up and the knees bend. No thigh swivel. No ankle tilt or anything. The foot can go up and down, but that's mainly for the combination. No waist swivel. He's he's articulate enough. His legs go out and forward, and he can hold poses pretty well because he's not loose like a slag. Let's have a look. So all in all, it's a decent enough figure. I wouldn't have got him at full price, but yeah, I got him on offer, so I'm happy with what I've got. Let's see what he's like in jet mode. Okay, so the jet mode's an interesting variation. It definitely looks like something that came out of season 3 of the animated series. You know, when they were starting to look less Earth-like and more Cybertronian, more alien. And this definitely shows that with the weird-ass wings. And I mean that in a good way, but you know, it's not those standard earthly jet wings that you get with Silverbolt or any of the other ones, or even as clean as Cyclonus is for that matter. He's also got the massive bastard cannon on his nose, cone there, which I kind of dig. His jet mode's odd, but I like it. That's the best way to describe it, because it looks really fucking weird, and you have to look at it to really see what it's supposed to be. But when you do look at it, there is some really nice detailing on there. I mean, just look at some of the sculpting on there, and the ridges and the silver paint down the sides there, and the way the wings are all sharp and pointy with gaps in, and then even under the back bit here you've got like the extra details and the false guns there that look like they'd fold back, but they don't. There's a lot of good sculpted detail in this. It looks weird at first glance, but you know, when you get into it and look at the finer details, it really is quite nice. And even the nose cone and cockpit has some nice detailing on it down the sides. It's a nice figure. The robot mode is pretty much, you can't really appreciate the detail in robot mode, I don't think. As a robot, it's pretty much just a Silverbot repaint with a different head and different wing kibble. But you know, when you get it into jet mode, it starts to shine there, and you can see its own qualities as a figure and as a retool, and it's quite nice to look at this and see all these little hidden things like my eye. Underneath you've got that standard fucking issue that most jets have had for the last 34 years, in that it's really hard to hide those parts. You can clearly see the arms coming up there that tuck into the legs, the outer part of the legs, and it's a bit loose sometimes. You just got to be careful. You've got the bend on the arm just right for it to hold in place. I like how you can use the chest panels to hide the legs a bit more, because if you look in there you can clearly see his bollocks, and yeah, that's not pretty. So yeah, props for using that bit to hide them. But yeah, back is a bit of a mess, but it can't be helped, because it has to. It's one thing to do it with a robot that turns into just a jet, but when you've got a robot that turns into a jet that has to turn into a whole nother body, there are going to be compromises. Speaking of another body, let's take a look at another body, because there's not really a lot else to talk about with the robot mode, the jet mode, sorry. It's weirdly nice is the best way I can describe it. Still has all the flaws of your standard jet issues with stuff being visible. Anyway, let's move on to the torso. Okay, so here he is as a torso, and like I said, pretty much he's Red Superion, isn't he? The head and chest hasn't really been altered at all, I don't think. I'm looking at Superion now. It is exactly the same, except for focus, bitch. Focus, bitch. I hide my head. There we are. One difference being Superion. Above the mouth plate, below the visor on this is black. With Superion, it's still silver. So, you know, there is a slight difference, but the chest detail is the same. By the Autobot symbol, which is all white on Superion, and there's only one of them. But yeah, it's pretty much a red Superion. And the moulding is pretty much all the same, with the exception of the wing kibble there and the nose cone. So, let's have a look at him with some limbs, shall we? I've got a lot of arms. I'm going to have to transform some legs. So, while I do that, let's go with Ironhide and Trailbreaker as the legs, because they are superior as legs. While I do that, I'll talk about some other stuff that I am planning. I do want to do my wank basket, which is basically my basket of figures that I don't really display, because it doesn't mean all of them are shit. in the wank baskets. It just means that some of them aren't. I've only got so much room on my shelves, so it's a case of I put the best out. What isn't the best goes into the wank basket, whether it's any good or not. My Star Wars Transformers, for example, they're all in the wank baskets. My Marvel crossovers, they're all in the wank baskets. I have not Combiner Wars, Fall of Cybertron, or War 4, Fall of Cybertron, the video game versions, Starscream, Thundercracker and Skywarp. They're only in the wank baskets because I lost one of Thundercracker's guns and I'm gutted about it. I can't bring myself to display it incomplete. So, right, we've got 2 legs, Ironhide and Trailbreaker, the good legs. Let's put them on. So I think I've got 3 wank baskets. This Prime Wars thing is a trilogy, so I will probably do a wank basket at the end of each trilogy review. So yeah, that's coming up. Okay, so we have legs on him. Nice bulky legs. See if we can get you standing a bit more forward. That'll do. Arms. Who should we go for arms? Let's go Prowl and Smokescreen for arms, because they're the same mould, and I've already got Smokescreen as an arm. So let's put Smokescreen on. Yep, and I'll just quickly transform Prowl to an arm. Yeah, I do plan with these in terms of like my main regular thing being the trilogy shows, trilogy toys, sorry. But that doesn't mean I'm not open to doing something else. I've recently just hit 200 subscribers, so whoever 200 was, thank you. As a matter of fact, thank you to everybody who subscribed and stayed subscribed. I've been having really cool back and forth with Tatimus Prime. Dan, he tends to watch all my stuff and comment a lot, and that's really great. Thank you for that, Dan. That means the world to me. Yeah, that'll do. And anybody else who's watched it, thank you, Patriot Prime, for your subscription. I might have done that already. I've been kind of lost in all this, to be honest with you, trying to keep up. But yeah, I am staying more active, more like every other day, kind of in terms of uploads, which I'm kind of liking. The have I been giving out the wrong fucking things? I don't know, I might have given him the wrong foot. I don't know, I've got fucking, what's his face there? Ironhide has the silver one. I'm lost. I think. Bear with me. Where's his? He was an arm. Streetwise was an arm, so he needs a hand. I have not organised this very well. He needs a foot. His will be black as well. So, yeah, Prowl needs the silver hand. I'm getting there, people. That's Trailbreaker's hand, actually. So, yeah, that's how it goes. Just had to amputate a foot. But yeah, there are a lot of other toys that I want to review. It's just a case of getting to them. And I don't want to be completely rigid as to only do Prime Wars until Prime Wars is done and then move on to something else. I am open to reviewing other figures. Obviously, if I'm still in the middle of Combiner Wars and someone says, do a Titans Return figure, I'll respectfully say wait until I get to Titans Return. But anything that isn't, like any masterpieces, Star Saber, Optimus Prime, Ironhide, Primal, any of that lot, any Lego reviews, just let me know. I'll stick to what I'm doing for now. Combiner, Titans, Power of the Primes. But if there's any suggestions for anything else, then I will get to that. I'm also still working on 13. It's just been slow because, you know, stuff's getting in the way. Real life as such. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's take a look. So I've got Betatron here with Prowl and Smokescreen as arms. Nice uniform arms, and Ironhide and Trailbreaker as legs. Nice uniform legs. Ironhide kind of makes it too much red, I think. But yeah, that's his combined form with 2 matching arms, 2 matching legs. That's how I like it to be when I can help it. It's decent enough, isn't it? It's definitely different to Superion because they're all land vehicles, except for Scattershot, obviously. But it looks different enough to Superion, although it does, in a lot of ways, just look like Superion with land vehicles as limbs. So, who else we got? We've got Hound, we've got Wheeljack and Sunstreaker, and we have Mirage. So, let us swap out the arms. Let's take Prowl and Smokescreen off, because I've got Wheeljack and Sunstreaker ready-made as arms. Ah, get off, you bastards. Come on. Good bitch. And you. Good bitch. Alright, so we'll put Wheeljack on that side. Another thing that I like about Scattershot as well is that Silverbolt Superion mode kind of looks like his ears are slicked back because of the way they're bent, which I'm not a big fan of, and Scattershot's stand upright. Right, so there he is with the Wheeljack and Sunstreaker arms, which, as arms, they look fine. They're not as good as the Prowl and Smokescreen arms, but they look okay, I guess. So I'm going with all uniformity here, aren't I? But I'm running out of uniforms. I have Hound and Mirage. Let's look at Hound and Mirage as arms. Yup. Hound on this side. And then Mirage with his Mr. Boyd arm mode on that side. Oh! Someone's been doing yoga. Okay. So. Hand the Mirage's arms. Nice, breaks up the colour a little bit, doesn't it? But you've always got the red leg, the all red leg and the black leg. It's decent enough. I like it. There are better combiners, and there's so many different combinations. I would probably personally stick with Hide and Trailbreaker, and then Prowl and Smokescreen as the arms. Don't know who on though, because I do feel like Ironhide's leg makes too much red on the Betatron figure. It's really one of those. Let's bring back Optimus Maximus for a little bit of a play, shall we? So let's shift the legs to Opmax. I'm not going to do Cyclonus until I've reviewed him, so but yeah, when I've reviewed him, that's really playtime. Okay. we'll put Prowl and Smokescreen on as the arms here on Opmax. The Prime, oh, his fucking legs have gone all gammy again. Why you do this, Optimus Prime? Right, so quite dig that actually. Yeah, that's a nice fucking balance, isn't it? Yeah, quite like that. Looks good with the Ironhide and Smokescreen to break up the to add a nice little bit of red and blue. Nice little contrast there. Yeah, I quite dig that particular configuration. Colours in that are great. Enough red and blue, but not enough to overpower it because you've got Prowl with the white and Trailbreaker with the black. It's nice. I quite dig that actually. Anyway, we're about Betatron, aren't we? So, let's leave my improved Optimus Maximus, and we need to turn... We'll go with Sunstreaker and Wheeljack as the feet. See how that looks. So... yeah, those are my plans going forward. Like I said, anybody has any suggestions for anything else, let me know in the comments. Please don't say do more Transformers the soap or do more anything else that I do still have in the works, because like I said, they're still in the works. This is easy, it's quick, it's keeps me engaged with my audience. It's fun to do. I'm really enjoying doing this and getting the feedback from doing this. So thank you to anybody who watches and likes and comments and such. Yeah, it's been fun. Going back to what I started, or where I started. I think Dan responded to, was it Roddy Wave 666's video, getting to know an old Transformers reviewer and why I do this shit. And I wasn't specifically tagged to do it, but I feel like I might want to. So if it's all the same, I will probably go ahead and do that, because I have a lot to say on that particular subject. Why I do this shit and stuff. Because... so is that it? Let's have a look. Not really. Or is it because it's differently moulded? I didn't do the comparison with Sunstreaker and Wheeljack, did I? So there's a lot of stuff that I'm realising now that's all different. There we are, I've got to put the arms in last. So yeah, I do feel like that's something I want to do. Whether I'm tagged in it or not, I'm assuming I'm allowed. So I'll probably go ahead and do that. Because some of the questions are interesting, some of the answers that Dan gave were interesting. I don't mind seeing other people's takes on it as well. So, yeah. That's something that I've got planned. It definitely breaks up the red a bit more. It's a bit more of a mishmash in terms of colours. It's not bad though, is it? It's you've got all these different. I mean, what I'm doing is I'm sticking to the generic limbs, you know, as a rule, because I don't want to take the limbs from the proper teams. Like, I don't want to take fucking a bunch of protector bots and a bunch of combaticons and mix them all up and stuff. It's, I don't know, I'm being a bit anal about it, I know, but you know, combaticons stay with combaticons and all that stuff. I know they're designed to fucking do it. I might have another play around. At the end of this series, I might just go completely nuts and just fucking completely mix and match, and just do like maybe a video montage of pictures and shit, and do it like that. But I feel like that's the best way to go about it with this one, is Ironhide's too red. He adds too much red to it. I've got uniform legs, which don't look as good as arms, so I'll stick with Hound and Mirage as arms because they're both successful arms, especially Mirage. Going back to Optimus Maximus, I think I might have found my perfect combination there. I do really like that. I did say when I got to this I'd touch on Optimus Maximus a little bit more. So yeah, it's different enough because they're all land vehicles, so it doesn't just look like Red Superion, because he doesn't have jet noses or wings sticking out of his shoulders and stuff like that, so it does make it different enough. I don't have the Computron set, so I probably have a different opinion. I mean, I don't hate it, I don't dislike it, I actually quite like it. It's nice to have another Autobot torso to play around with. It's just, it's an odd one. And it is pretty much just red Silverbolt in this particular guise anyway. His jet mode's lovely. I like his jet mode. It's weird and incredibly detailed. Considering they cut holes in the wings, it's really nice in the jet mode. The robot mode is standard, which I think is good. I like the robot mode, I like the Cyclonus robot mode, the Silverbot robot mode. So no complaints there. Jet has the usual underside issues, but they are prevalent in pretty much everything with a jet transformer these days. And it's, yeah, combine mode is, you know, I don't want to take up too much time messing around with different, I mean, I've gone through a few combinations, I've gone through every single configuration because I'd be here all day and I've got shit to do. So, but I do feel like that is a decent one. You know, he's got a Jeep for an arm, a race car for an arm, and two other Lambo type things for legs, sorry. So it's decent enough. It makes good use of everybody. And, you know, I say that stuff about reviewing, and I develop an extended fondness for stuff over time, and I think I might have just found my definitive Optimus Maximus there. It does look, I like the red and added red and blue. And even the black and the white of Trailbreaker and Prowl don't detract from that. So yeah, I think that is it for this review of Scattershot / Betatron. I believe next I'm reviewing the Leader Class Seekers. I think. I'm gonna just have a quick look, actually. So yeah, just checked, and next up my review will be of the Combiner Wars Leader Class Seekers, Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp. I'm doing them all three together because they are just repaints, but I'm throwing in an added one, Generations Jetfire, because that's the mold that they all came from. So that will be a comparison and review of 4 robots. So that should be maybe a bit of an extended one. We'll see how quickly we get through it. But until then, I've been Dezaras Prime. You've been wonderful. You shall see me next time.